Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I am back to talk about some books that I would love to reread in 2022. So I have a lot of books on my TBR, and I don't tend to reread all that often. I do a little bit, maybe one a month, if that, but I do have so many books that I have absolutely loved, and I would love to reread them. I never tend to make the time for it because I have so many new books that I need to fit in, but here is a stack of, I think, seven books that I would really like to reread in 2022. I don't think that's too unreasonable considering there are 12 months, 7 books. I mean, that's not even one a month, right? So I think I can probably do this. Some of them are in series though, so that might make it a little bit harder if I want to reread the whole series. But probably not. I'm probably just gonna try to reread like starting at the beginning and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's jump into these books. So the first one on this list is a little bit unique, as it is on this list not because it's an all-time favorite and I just want to reread it because I need to go back and live in that book again. It's on this list because when I read it, I did a very poor job of reading it. I was planning on reading it for a live show and I got really behind on my reading, and so I just kind of more skimmed. I put the audiobook on at times when I shouldn't have and wasn't paying attention. So I really did not get a very good experience reading this book, and I don't really remember what happened in it. So that is Dune by Frank Herbert. I didn't even end up getting to join the live show anyways though, which was super disappointing because work came up. I really wanted to read this book before the release of the movie, but I got really busy with school and work and life in general, and it just didn't happen as well as I would have liked. So this is one I would like to reread towards the beginning of the year because I'm not watching the movie yet. I want to have a good experience reading this, have good knowledge of this world before I jump into the movie. So yeah, definitely want to reread this towards the beginning of the year. And this one is this is pretty much like I want to actually read it. You know, it counts as a reread, but in all reality, I need to actually absorb this book for the first time. So the books from here on out are on here because I absolutely adore them and I just want to go back into their worlds, be with their characters, and just live in them again. And the first on this list is a series that I absolutely loved when I was younger, and I read them as they came out and just adored them. And I want to see how they stand up reading them again now after I've read so much more and I'm older, have a little bit different taste in books. And that is the Aragon series by Christopher Paolini. I can't find Aragon, so we're holding up Eldest, which is the second book in the series, and this is a 4-book young adult high fantasy series that follows this boy named Aragon who finds a stone, and then his world kind of changes from there. I feel like this world is very reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings world, which it is clearly very inspired by it. You have dwarves and elves and humans, and it just has that vibe to it. I really enjoyed it a lot. I love the characters. I love the world building. I think a lot of the tropes that I enjoy are used very well in here. And so I'm really excited to jump back into this world to see if I love it as much as I did when I was younger. And I'm considering maybe doing like a read along of this, like rereading series. Let me know what you think of that. I have so many things that I want to do for the channel, so I don't know if I will add that on as soon as I would like. But yeah, I definitely want to reread this series, see how I love it now, but I will have to find the first book to do that. So we'll see. If I have to buy a new one, that's fine, because the first one I have is in paperback and the rest of them are in hardcover, and I just don't like that. So if I lost the first one and I have to buy a new one in hardcover, won't be sad about that. Next book on this list was a 2020. Holy, COVID has messed up my time, my sense of time. Was a 2020 release that I loved and adored, and it was beautiful, and I loved being there, like just being in the book, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is probably my favorite of her books so far. I just felt like I was in this world. And I'm gonna be honest, I did enjoy the parts in the past more than the parts in the future. I love that historical fantasy atmosphere, and I liked the character, the morally gray, maybe more on the side of like dark gray to black character that was in here. He was one of my favorite aspects of this book. I just had so much fun with it, such a good time. I thought it was beautifully written, and I just would love to get back into it and read it again and just absorb all of that again. It was such an enjoyable read for me, and I feel like sometime when I just need like a comfort read, then I will pick this one up. It'll probably end up being a mood read, honestly, because I don't know, like I don't have plans to reread it, but sometime I might need just like a comfort read that I can just get lost in, and I'll pick this one up. Next on this list is a series I've been meaning to reread for a couple years now and just haven't gotten around to it, and that is The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I loved these books, but I haven't read them in so long. I feel like there's so much in there that I don't remember, that I missed, that I would pick up on more on a reread, and I would just love to do that this year. Obviously, I would want to start with The Hobbit, because I think the first time reading it, The Hobbit was one of my favorites, but I did read them very young. I read them in elementary school, so I am pretty sure that my opinions are going to be a little bit different this time around. And I remember I read them the first time before I had watched all the movies. I think I'd only watched the first one. So some things that were happening there, it was amazing because I didn't know the story. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so that was a great experience. I just need to get back into this world. I need to re-experience it and see if I still love it as much as I remember loving it. I'm pretty positive I will, but yeah, I really definitely want to reread this series, and that might be another one of the series that goes onto my like series of rereading series. Next book up on this list is one that I picked up when we were on vacation. I knew absolutely nothing about it. It was recommended to me by the girl that was working in the bookstore in Washington, D.C., and that is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This book is amazing. This book has the greatest atmosphere to it. You feel the creepy vibes. You feel the like excitement and the thrill, and I don't know, it just pulls me into it, and I absolutely loved it when I read it. I could not put this book down. I had to know what happened. I was so invested in this book and the twists, and it was just so much fun. I was creeped out, and I loved it. And I don't remember a whole ton at this point. Like I don't even remember ultimately how everything resolved, because it has been a few years since I've read it, and I feel like it'll be great to have forgotten a little bit when I go back into it. Like I know in general how it ends, but just every little detail in here, it's so much fun how things fit together, and I'm really excited to reread this one. This one technically is the first in a series, but they're all companion novels, so they're not like, I don't have to read another book after this one, but if I want to, I can keep going within this world. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to reread this one. It's been way too long. The next one on this list is, I think, the only one on the list because of a release of another book, and that is The Golem and the Genie by Helene Wecker. The companion novel to this book, it's kind of a sequel. It comes after this book, but it's not required to be read, and it's called The Hidden Palace, and I would really like to reread this book before I read The Hidden Palace, just so I can kind of have it fresh in my mind and remember what happened in here, get familiar with the characters again, get back into that world. And I love the atmosphere of this book. It follows these characters that are magical beings that come over to America in, I think, the 1920s New York. Is it that one it is? Like 1899 New York, so even older than that. And I just love that historical fantasy atmosphere of it, and I am really excited to jump back into this world. It's been a while since I've read it, but I just binged it when I first did. I think I read it on a night shift. I had a patient that was a no touching is better type situation, and so I read this whole book and loved it, and I am so excited to reread this book. I hope it lives up to my expectations. I hope I still love it as much as I did the first time. And the last book on this list is another all-time favorite, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Again, this is a very beautifully written, atmospheric, magical book. And I think that's kind of a vibe that I've seen in like, what, 3 of my rereads is, well, I guess kind of 4 because The Shadow of the Wind, but I just love atmospheric books. I love books that can pull me into them, feel like I'm there, just all of me is immersed in the book and I am invested and I can't put it down. That's what I need. And this definitely gave that to me the first time that I read it. I love this book so much. I've never done a reread of it, which is very disappointing for me because when I first read it, I planned on rereading it again almost right away and I just never did. So I'm really excited to reread this book, and I just feel like it's going to be another one of those kind of like Addie LaRue where when I am in the mood for a comfort read, I'm going to pick this one up and just kind of let myself be swept away in it. So yeah, this is probably going to be a mood read one as well, but I'm so excited for it. I love this book. I love the characters, the world, the magic. It's just beautiful. So those are 7 books that I would love to reread in 2022. I am hoping I'll be able to get to them. Like I said, I tend to prioritize new books over rereads, but I would love to be able to fit these in throughout the year. Let me know down in the comments some books that you absolutely love to reread, if you have kind of a comfort series that you go back to over and over again. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.